Hey, and welcome to another Business Booster live stream. I want to know who's watching right now, wherever you're tuning in from. I know I have people right across the globe that are tuning in to these business live streams. So let me know where you're tuning in from, because it's always good to know where you guys are. And also let me know if you're watching this live, then obviously comment live. And if you're watching this via the replay, then please hashtag replay below. I'm using StreamYard to stream, right? So in order for me to actually see any of your comments on StreamYard, I need you to give StreamYard permission. And so there is some information around this stream which will tell you how to do that. But I'm super excited about this live stream because we're going to be looking at the 5 secrets that I guarantee that you are making when it comes to selling, and also looking at quick fixes around how you can fix that. Now, I think everyone can agree, right? Without sales, you really do not have a business. But what always surprises me is that so many coaches and consultants say they have businesses, right? And they are out there trying to share their knowledge with the world, mainly doing it through social media. But the reality of it is that they're not making any sales, right? If you're a coach or a consultant and you've got that Facebook front going on where you've got your your posts and you're inspiring people, etc., but you're not making any sales, then I say that you're not a coach or a consultant. And the reason why I say that is because you don't have a business. Okay, now selling is something that's really, really dear to my heart, and the reason why is because I believe selling is all about serving. Right? If we are not able to serve our clients with the next logical step, then we're doing them a disservice. And I believe that all coaches and consultants, wherever you are on your journey, the key to growing your business and having big impact in the world is getting comfortable with sharing your product or your service, and getting comfortable with sharing your knowledge as well. Now, I'm not sure whether or not you can hear me. Let me try that again. So the whole idea is about sharing your knowledge and sharing your abilities with the world. And the only way that you can do that in a way that's reciprocal is by understanding the power and what you need to do in order to sell. Now, I started my journey about 5 years ago, and I had no clue, right? No clue about how to sell. I was in a 9-to-5 job, which I absolutely loathed. And those of you that know me probably know my story, but those of you that don't, well, this is a quick overview of that. I was in a situation which, I was doing a 9-to-5 job, which was paying me really, really well, but I was not fulfilled, right? And I always say that sometimes it's better to hate something because at least you feel something towards it rather than just feeling bored. And that's how I found myself feeling in my day job most times. And I just knew that I had to get out. But in order for me to get out of my day job, I needed to replace my day job income, right? It's just not possible just to give up a day job and your lifestyle to just pursue a dream. You have to get to a stage where your day job income is being replaced by your passion-driven business income. And so it took me a while to do that, lots of training, etc. And the biggest skill that I realized that I needed to master in order to make that transition possible and to grow my business to those 10 and 20K unpredictable months was that I needed to understand how to sell. And that was the key. Once I realized and understood the truth behind what selling really was, I got over the mindset that I was using to hold myself back, which would make me not show up and sell my products and service. Once I stepped into that lane and realized that actually by selling, I'm doing a massive favor to my clients and the people that I serve, that's when everything took off for me. And within a very short period of time, within 4 weeks, I was already having 10K months. And then from there, I went on to 20K months. And now the business just continued to grow from there. So if you know that you need, to either be transitioning out of your 9-to-5 as quickly as possible into your passion-driven business, or if you're currently a coach right now and you've hit a plateau, hey, I can see some guys joining. That's great. Thank you. Hey, buddy. And you've hit a plateau, right? And now you want to take it to that next level because you want to have a biggest impact. Come on, as coaches, what do we really want? Yeah, money's good, right? But the key to what we want to do is impact, right? I think you'll agree with me. Comment impact below if you agree with me on that one. But again, if you want to have impact, it's not about not charging what you're worth. It's not about giving everything away for free, because honestly, people do not value, they do not value things for free, okay? How many times have you opted into an email list, okay, and you've been given something for free? They say, you give me your name and your email and you'll get this free cheat sheet, you'll get this free guide, right? And how many times have you not even opened the email? You've opted in, but you haven't even opened the email or accessed the training that was given to you. And the reason why is not because you're ungrateful, it's just because priority takes over, right? Other things come in the way. And so if you've got things that are taking over and you've got other priorities, what happens is you end up having what's called shelf development. Okay, so what I'm looking to do today, by sharing the 5 key skills that or the 5 mistakes I know that you are making. Yep, I know you're making these skills and these mistakes when it comes to selling. By sharing this and the quick fixes, I'm hoping that it's going to give you the boost, the momentum that you need to take your business to that next level. All right, so without further ado, let's just jump in. And to do that, I'm going to just share my screen so that you can also see what I'm doing in a visual way. So it's good to make sure that you can serve people in many different ways. Some people are like to listen audibly, other people like visuals, so I like to make sure I accommodate both. All right, so let's look at this. Sales secrets, the 5 mistakes I guarantee you are making and the quickest way to solve them. All right, so where are you now? You may have a love-hate relationship with sales. You know you have to sell, but the process just makes you feel icky. The amount of times I hear this, you know, people not feeling comfortable about sharing their skills for money, you know, people making excuses for why they should be giving their skills away for free or charging a ridiculously low price. And there's something, it's all around. If you know you're not charging what you are truly worth, there is something on a deeper subconscious level that's making you feel that you are not worthy. And as a result, this breeds an element of fear, and that is what is actually feeling icky. It's not necessarily the sales process, it's the fear that's behind it. Also, you know that you're making some sales, but you need to improve your sales ratio if you're going to either go full-time or hit your next financial goal. Maybe you're new to coaching and know that selling is one of the skills that you need to upgrade and upgrade fast. If you know that's what you need to do, then stick around to the end when I reveal those 5 things that you are doing wrong in your selling strategy right now. Also, you may have hit a plateau, right? And you want to push your business to the next financial level so you can start living the life you deserve. You know, ultimately, when we got into this as a coach or as a consultant, I think I can speak on the behalf of all of us. It was an opportunity for us to really create the life that we wanted. I know it was for me, right? It was our opportunity to live the life, have the time freedom to be able to spend with our loved ones and our family and friends, but also to have the lifestyle that we want, whether that may be to be able to travel, whether that may be to, you know, upgrade our house, whether that may be to have the car that we want. You know, we all have our dreams of the things that we want and to achieve in our lives. Maybe we want to give our loved ones, okay, more lavish things, you know, or not have to worry about being careful with money. So whatever it is, whatever that lifestyle is you desire, it's on the other side of you being able to sell your product or service. Maybe you're just damn right scared of doing it, and so you are secretly sabotaging your business so you don't have to do it. Now, many of you may not realize that you are doing this. So let me give you some telltale signs to make you aware of what you're doing to sabotage your business. So some people will be fooling themselves. They'll be saying, I'm happy with the pace my business is growing at, right? When in reality, their business isn't growing at all. They have been in the same position for months, and they are not really doing anything to really take the business to the next level, but they tell themselves that it's all okay because they are happy with the pace their business is growing at. If that's you, then you need to stop it. right? Or another thing that you're doing, or to give you a telltale sign of when you're secretly sabotaging yourself, is that you may be putting off having conversations and sales calls until tomorrow. You know, so you might know there's a sales call that you could have right now, or there's someone you could talk to about your business right now, but you make some kind of excuse and then tell yourself that actually, you know what, I'll have that conversation tomorrow. If you find that you're doing that, then that is a sign that you are secretly sabotaging yourself and your business, and this is something that needs to be addressed. Another thing that you could be doing is just sticking to working one-to-one. Okay, now if you're sticking to working one-to-one, then this can be a problem that could be sabotaging your business, because it means that you have to be careful about how many clients you can bring in so you don't become overwhelmed, right? And that means you've not got the business structured in a way that can support the volume that you need to have in order for you to get the lifestyle that you want. And this can be something I hear so many people saying, I'm doing one-on-one until I get my feet wet, until I, you know, strengthen my ability and my confidence in my coaching. But at the root of it, it's really just not having the confidence within themselves to do what they need in order to get the volume of clients in and create the impact that they desired within the world. Maybe you know that this is your year, right? And so it's time to upskill your ability to get clients. If you know that this is the year, if you are currently working for someone else, if you're dabbling in your passion-driven business, right? You're not in your passion-driven business full time. You're doing it in the evenings, you're doing it on the weekends. You're not really being able to give it the full time that it deserves. Then this is why you need to upskill your selling ability. Or if you are, as I mentioned before, plateaued, okay, and you know that you need to now move the business to the next year level, and you want to do that before next year, then again, all of this lives on the other side of being able to sell. All right, so where do you want to be? Continue watching if you want to feel confident in your abilities to sell your product or service. If you know that you want those consistent 10K, 20K, and plus and beyond months. If you want no more guilt about sharing your product or service. How many times do I hear people saying or feeling guilty because they're sharing their product or service, or they're having a conversation about their product and service? It shouldn't be this way. You should be excited when it comes to selling your product or service. If you're not excited by it, guys, then it becomes a chore. And if it's a chore, then it's something, what do we do with chores, right? It's something that we put to one side, but you really can't put selling to one side, right? Because without any sales, you do not have a business. And so you may as well just stop calling yourself a coach or a consultant. If you're not going to do something about getting clients in, okay, then stop kidding yourself, right? Stop kidding the world and get real. But if it is something that you want to do, you want to be a coach, you want to be a consultant, you want to be making change in the world, then you've got to get past the guilt of sharing your product or service and go out there excited to be able to do that. Maybe you no longer want to be struggling to get clients. Okay, you don't want to be, you know, having that unpredictable pattern, you know, the peaks and troughs. Sometimes you have lots of clients coming in, other times you don't. Sometimes you close many of them, sometimes you don't. And as a result, you can't build or create a consistent income stream, right? That's the key to success. It's not necessarily having, you know, big months and then little months. The key to success is having a constant income stream that becomes predictable, right? Because when you have predictability in how much money is coming in, it means that you can plan your life appropriately. That's one of the reasons, or one of the things why the 9-to-5 is so attractive, and why some of you are scared to let go of it, because of the predictability of it all. Right? You know, every single month you're going to get whatever you get per month, right? And as a result, you know that you can cover your bills. As a result, you know that you can go on that one holiday a year, or whatever it is that you want to do, that lifestyle that you create for yourself. Well, if you don't no longer want to struggle with those peaks and troughs, then again, when I share these secrets and tell you how to fix them, you will be able to now begin to build a consistent stream of income. Mainly, and finally, your business, finally, you want to get into your business full time. Yeah. And you want to live that freedom lifestyle you've always talked about, you know, and no longer just seeing it as a dream, something you daydream about at your desk, but actually being able to do it. Or maybe you want to stop having to be sensible with money. You know, how many times you've got to think or second guess whether you can get this or you can get that. I mean, it's not that you're poverty stricken, but it's just that you're always having to be sensible with your money. And you know, you want to be able to just buy something because you can, right? Or do something because you can, or give your loved one something because you can, not constantly thinking about, I've got to save this because I need to do that, right? Or maybe you want to be able to lavish your friends and loved ones with nice things and not have to think about it, right? And finally, maybe it's time that you want to prove to your loved ones that all the blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice was worth it. If you know this is one of the things that you're fighting with, those naysayers, those people in your life that don't see your vision, they don't see your dream, or maybe you've been trying your vision and your dream for a while, you haven't made it a success. So as a result, you know, they're right to be cautious. Right? They're right to step in and say, all right, you've had a fair crack at this now. Now just get your head out of the clouds and then start focusing in on something that brings money in, right? If you know that you're having these conversations or you're feeling this energy coming towards you, but deep inside, you know that you are here on this planet for more, you know, you're here to step into your calling. And what do I call a calling? I mean, the group of people that you have been called to serve with your life experience and your coaching and consulting, then you need to up your ability to sell so that you can move into your business full-time or hit that next financial level. All right, so where can you use these techniques that I'm about to share? Right, some of you may be selling via DM Messenger. That's a great place to meet people, a great place to have conversations, a great place to warm people up, a great place to start introducing you and your service. So some of you may be using DM Messenger as one of your tools. Also on Zoom calls, this will be very useful. Yeah, if you are inviting people onto a sales call, then this is also going to be useful. Or even if you've got people, maybe you're doing like a challenge or you're doing like a webinar with an offer. In these situations, these tips that I'm talking about are going to be very useful. Maybe you're speaking to people directly on the telephone. Yes, guys, that still does happen. I can't remember the last time actually I did a telephone call. Most of mine happened via Zoom and via Messenger and also through, like, you know, sales strategy calls like what I'm doing here, through information. People want to work with me, but you know, telephone still exists and is a good way to get people to know about your product or service. Maybe you're doing it in person. You know, maybe you bump into someone at a networking event and you're having a conversation and it's going really well and it transpires that they want to work with you. Some of these techniques and strategies can help you there. Anyhow you sell, these 5 things, these 5 mistakes that you're making and how to fix them, which I'm about to share, understanding how to do these things properly is going to just make you more effective in any kind of sales arena. All right, so some of you are itching at the bit, right? You're literally shouting at me at the screen, or you should be at least. You should be saying, all right, what are the 5 mistakes I guarantee that you are making? And also, what are these quick fixes that you are talking about? So drum roll, are we ready? Okay, so mistake number 1, mindset. Okay, understand that selling is all about serving. Okay, if you don't sell, you are not able to serve your clients on the highest level. The thing that I hear so many people saying is either they're lowering their price or they're giving all their information away for free because they say, I just want to help everyone, right? I just want to serve as many people as possible. I want everyone to have access to this information. But the problem that you have is you are giving all your information away for free, but I guarantee you that person who's ready to make that next step, who knows, likes, and trusts you because they've seen your content and they've seen the information that you share, they resonate with you and they are just literally waiting for you to offer them that next phase of being able to work with you, they are being forced to have to go to someone else, someone who is charging their price, charging for their services, and are going to give them a clear strategy for them to get to the next level. Also remembering that if you don't put the effort into getting your mindset right, your sales calls are always going to feel icky. Why? Because you're not going to be showing up as your brightest, most authentic self. Okay, you have to show up and you have to be confident, right? You have to be exude certainty when you are selling, okay? Because the person on the other end who is about to have to impart with money, you know, everyone gets scared. Let me tell you, point blank and center, everybody, or let's say most people, I don't want you hounding me, but most people get scared when it comes to spending money, right? Especially when it comes to coaching, right? Because it's almost like they're investing in something which they don't know if they're going to get their return on. Okay, like with an iPhone, for example, an iPhone, you buy it and you know that it's in your hand. You know that you can make the phone call straight away. You know that you can play your games on it or whatever you use your iPhone to do, right? But when it comes to knowledge or information, you give your money up front and then you've got to go through the process of getting the results. Okay, so people are even more scared when it comes to coaching. So if you're turning up and you are being apologetic, if you're turning up and you're not understanding that you're serving at the highest when you are making a sell, if you're turning up and you are not giving certainty, then that's going to feed off, right? That's going to come across to your client or your potential customer. And as a result, you're not going to make the sell. So what do I suggest that you do here? Well, one of the things you need to do is get yourself into state. Okay, before you go into a sales call, get yourself into state. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to move yourself into a happy, positive, and forward-thinking type state. Okay, where you know that you've got this, you know that the product or service that you're offering is on fire, and you know that it's going to transform that person's life. Okay, that's the state that you need to get yourself into. Now, this getting yourself into state is all about changing your inner world. Yeah, and lots of different people do different things. Okay, one thing that you may need to do is you might need to prepare for the sales call. Okay, think about the questions that you're going to ask. You know, and the questions need to be questions that are going to get the person to open up and show you what's really going on, okay? Questions that are going to get the person to reveal the pain that they are in. Because unless you get someone to remember or remind them of the pain that they are really in, your sales conversations are always going to stay very surface level. And without getting deeper and staying on the surface, there's going to be no need or no urgency to take action on what you have to offer. Okay, so one of the things you need to do is prepare yourself. Close your eyes and see yourself having the conversation. That's one of the best ways to prepare, right? Close your eyes and see yourself having a conversation. Maybe you need to get yourself a script that you can have the questions there, so you've got a clear process or a clear direction for the sales call. Okay, another thing you might want to do is listen to some music. I mean, music's a great way of changing your state, right? It's a great way of getting you in the mood, right? You never want to turn up to a sales call not in the mood. If you turn up to a sales call not in the mood, 9 times out of 10, that is not going to transpire into a sale. So you have to get your mindset right. And the way you get your mindset right is by changing your state. Ensure that when you turn up, you are turning up with the mindset that this is going to be a transformational process for your client. And not only that, it's going to result in a win-win, i.e. they're going to come on board and you are going to receive payment for that. Another mistake that some of you are not making, all right, or a mistake that you are making, sorry, is not pushing back. Now, what do I mean by not pushing back? What I mean is you are accepting the very first thing that your potential client is saying to you. All right, now, if you've handled your sales conversation correctly, okay, you have, in the beginning of the conversation, really got them to think about what it is they want for their life, okay? You've got them to think about what it is, where do they want to be in life? And then you've got them to look at where they presently are right now, okay? So why they haven't, and where they are compared to where they want to be. Then if you've asked some probing questions, okay, to find out what has stopped them from achieving what they're wanting to achieve and what they could achieve by enrolling onto your program. Okay, and if you've then got them to really explain their why, okay, why are they doing it? Like, why are they trying to achieve the thing that you can help them to achieve? You know, is it for their loved ones? Is it for their families? Is it for their friends? What is the reason? What is the deep why that they want in order for them to be motivated to go after what it is that you have to offer? If you've done all of that and you've done that correctly, then there should be no reason why your potential client should be holding back from your offer and becoming your client. The only reason that it can be is fear. Okay, so any objections that you're getting, understand that it's fear-based. If someone says, I don't have money, or if someone tells you that they need to speak to their partner, or if someone tells you that they need to think about it, all of this is fear-based. And so you don't take that information at face value when you know how much pain your client is in. They've told you how much pain they are in, right? I always believe that as coaches and consultants, we need to stand for our clients' transformation, even when they're scared to stand for their own transformation. Write this one down, okay? You've got to stand for your client's transformation, even when they're scared to do so themselves. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If we know that at this point, they've told us everything we need to know, we know they need this product or service, and then they are stalling, okay, it's your duty to stand for their transformation and to ask probing questions to see what is the real reason behind them delaying making the transition. Okay, you've got to almost dig up their shadow self and show them that this very the inability that they have to make the right decision for themselves right now is the very thing that's currently holding them back and stopping them from achieving their goal, especially if they've been in this position for years or months. You know what I mean? It's crucial that you show them the reality of the situation. And sometimes you need to be relatively firm. Now, this is the part that everyone gets scared about, right? Because they think, oh, I'm being pushy, or I'm trying to force someone into the cell. Not at all. It all comes down to intention. Okay, if your intention is actually looking at the pain that someone has told you that they're in, knowing that you have the bridge to bridge that pain and to help them to overcome this challenge so they can start living a brighter, better life for them and their family, and if that's where your intention is, then it's not about forcing someone. It's about helping someone to become real about their present situation. And if you don't have the ability to do that, then you need to strengthen this. You need to find your voice and you need to stand for their transformation when they don't have the ability to do that. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is after this call, they're going to go back to their painful life. And then what they're going to do is become numb to their existence, right? And I believe that's why there's so much tragedies going on in the world, because everybody is just so unhappy. And that's one of the things that we do as coaches and consultants. We're all about giving solution to help people to become happier people. So the key here is, guys, stand for their transformation even when they are scared to do so. And a question that you could ask, you could say something like, okay, I hear you and I understand that let's say they say that they are not ready, they need to think about it. So you can say, okay, I understand and I hear that you say that you're not ready and you want to think about it. Let me ask you this, and you can ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sold are you on this training? Because you want to get a gauge of where they are. If they're saying, like, how sold are you that this training is going to get you the result that you need? If they are literally below like a 7, then that means that something's gone wrong and you haven't communicated your offer to them correctly. And so you can't move past that point until you understand what's going to bring them up to a 10. Okay. And so you ask them, okay, so what would make you be a 10 about this training, and listen to what they've got to say. But let's say that they are a 10, they say it's a 10, they know that this can get them the transformation that they want. Then the next question that you want to say is, okay, so you're open to me giving you some coaching around you thinking about it or not taking up the offer right now. And then wait for them to say. You should have built enough rapport, so the likelihood is they're going to say yes. And then what you can do is you can just restate everything that they have told you about their current situation, right? And also restate where they want to go, all right? And then once you've done that and asked them, do they agree that this is where they're at right now? And if they say yes, then you answer the question, so, does it make sense in you delaying? Or tell me, so why would you delay taking action? And what that will do is it will start to open up a conversation for you to get to the root of what is really holding them back. Not just that surface level of, can I think about it? But actually you may find that there are other, the deep rooted issue as to what is holding them back. And then you can work them through that and you can get them to the point where they want to move forward with becoming a client. It does take some skill, guys, and this is some of the things that I work with my clients on in terms of helping them to build that, what I call that, becoming a sales warrior. But when you begin to get good at asking powerful questions and pushing back on the immediate response so you can go deeper, this is when you start to move from not making many sales into nearly closing every single sale. All right, not being human on the call or in the DM. This is another mistake that some of you are making. Just getting a sip of water. So what do I mean by this? Well, ultimately, you have to recognize that selling is just a conversation. I mean, if I wish I could change the word, right? Because sales kind of puts so much pressure on something so simple as a conversation. But in a conversation, okay, the other person needs to be heard. That's really crucial. You have to be there and you have to be willing to listen to the other people or the other person on the other side of the conversation. I am a real believer that if you get really good at listening, that person will tell you everything that they need in order to be convinced that this is the right decision for them, right? Because ultimately, the question you need to ask yourself is, what do they need to believe in order to move forward with this sale? Now, oftentimes we can move into a weird kind of energy, right? Or you can move into an energy which is like what's called the get energy, where you're just so focused in trying to get the sell that you're not listening to what that person is saying. And I believe that we've got the higher conscious part of our brain, right? That part that dictates what happens in our lives, but it's not necessarily the part of our brain that we experience life with. We experience life with the conscious part of our brain, right? So we see a phone, our conscious brain sees the phone and we go to pick it up. But the higher conscious is the part of ourselves that really knows what our deepest wants and our desires are. And that's why it's so important to make sure you're feeding yourself with the right messages and feeding yourself with positive information, because it ultimately gets stored in that high conscious part of our brain. Now, if that's the high conscious, and let's say I am your potential client, I'm going to reveal what I need to you through what I say. Even if I'm not giving you the direct information there and then, something in what I'm going to say is going to reveal the truth. Okay, because it's almost like the high conscious parts of our brain wants us to get it, right? But we can only get something when we experience it via the conscious part of our brain. So what the high conscious will do is it will reveal what it needs the person to hear. And it's down for you as a coach to pick those things up and to then feed it back to that person. So they register it in the conscious part of their brain. And as a result, now the lesson is learned, okay? And that's all about helping someone to change and reprogram their belief system. What belief system are they currently running on your sales call that is stopping them from moving forward with your process? For example, one of the things that I strongly believe in is that starting off one-to-one is not a good way to grow your business. If you've started off one-to-one, I understand why you do it. If you're currently working one-to-one, I understand why you're doing it. But I know from experience and working with clients, when people work one-to-one, it's the reason why they can't grow. Because secretly they're sabotaging themselves, as I said earlier, which means that they are not able to bring their clients on because they're scared of how many clients can they actually look after on a one-to-one basis. All right, so I believe that a group coaching program where you can take one person through it, if you've only got one client, or 10, 15, 20 clients through it, is the route to go. Okay, so that's the belief that someone needs to understand, okay, or needs to recognize. However, if the person I'm speaking to is believing that one-to-one is the best strategy to grow their business, they will never move forward with my program. Okay, and if I don't get to the root of that belief system in the conversation to understand that's what they believe and their resolve is behind that, they will never move forward on my offer, right? So I need to be human. I need to listen to what they're saying in order for me to work out what the belief system is running, and then to help them to see that belief system, and then to help them to reinstall a better belief system that's going to serve them and their business more. All right, not creating urgency. On your sales calls, you have to create urgency. I don't mean fake urgency, okay? And what I mean by urgency, let me explain by that, is there needs to be an incentive for someone to buy your product and service there and then, okay? If there's no incentive to do that and you just share what it is that you do, someone's going to tell you, okay, I need to think about it. And they'll tell you, okay, they need a week or 2 weeks or a month to think about it. When you meet with them again, they still need to think about it. And the reason is because you've not given them urgency. You've not given them a cutoff point. You've not incentivized the good behavior of them making the right decision there and then. Okay, so how can you create urgency in your sales call? One of the things that you can do is on your sales call, you can offer a discount. Okay, so typically, let's say your coaching program is $6,000 or £6,000 typically. However, if someone comes onto that sales call with you, if they take action there and then, you will give them the program for $3,000 or $2,998. Right? That's kind of creating a form of urgency and making it clear that this discount is only available on this call right now. And why? Because you incentivize those that make the right decision straight away, because they usually turn out to be our best clients, right? People who are able to make a decision, people who know what it is that they want and they go for it, usually turn out to be the best clients. Okay, so creating that form of urgency is very important when you're doing a sales call. Otherwise, there really is no incentive for someone to say right there and then, I'm going to make this decision. So urgency is key in order to incentivize, and I'm going to say this again, incentivize the good behavior, okay, of them being a leader and taking the right decision for them right now. And if you've done your sales call correctly, and you know what you have to offer is going to create transformation in their lives, then the only right thing to do right now is to work with you as a client. And that has to be your thinking when you are on your sales calls. All right, maybe your offer is not clear. Okay, so how many of you are on your sales calls, you're talking to someone, but you haven't really given them the specifics, item by item of what they're going to receive? And I don't mean you go into the boring detail, okay, of, you're going to get, we start on Monday, and on Monday we do this, and on Tuesday we do that, and on Wednesday we do that. That's way too much detail. And in fact, that will have the opposite effect, because it will make your process look difficult and complicated, right? But what you want to do is think about it. Okay, Your client, let's say they want to grow a business. First thing that came to mind. They will have some kind of idea about what it takes to grow a business. Okay, maybe they've done some research on YouTube, maybe they've Googled a couple of things, maybe they've dabbled in a couple of courses, whatever. They've got some knowledge, or maybe they just have basic knowledge of what they think it will take to get clients, right? So when you present your offer, it has to be presented in a way that when they look at all the pieces of this puzzle that you're putting together, which you call your offer, they can see that no stone has been left unturned. Okay, that they're going to get every single thing that they need in order to, let's say, start a business, or in order to, let's say, lose weight. Whatever your specialty is as a coach or consultant is, your offer needs to be broken down in a way that they can see that every stone, everything they could possibly think they need is covered. Okay, and the next thing that it needs to do, your offer needs to show them that it's going to condense their time, right? It's going to shorten and collapse time. So what could effectively take them 3-4 years to figure out, you're going to be able to condense it into 16 weeks. And the key to doing that as well is having a representation, something that they can actually see, okay, with clear values of what each thing consists of, so that they can look at the offer in its full entirety and be able to make an informed decision. Okay, now when you're just trying to relay your offer to someone off the top of your head, unless they've got a pen and paper to write that down, they're not going to remember everything you say. This is a key thing to understand. You say, let's say you tell them 6 things, okay, that they're going to get in your offer. By the time you've told them the 6 things, the only thing they remember is point number 6. That's the reality of it. So in order to overcome that, you need to have it itemized. It needs to be visual, a bit like what we've got going on here, where they can see the things that are on offer to them. And this gives them the ability to make an informed decision and ask questions about any part of the process that they are not aware of, okay, or any part of the process that they're not clear on, sorry. So those of you that are just speaking to people and telling them what you're going to get, and then you're finding that it's not translating into a sell, it's because your offer is not clear enough. Okay. Another thing I want to say on this as well is, so many people are scared to reveal their price until someone comes onto the sales call. This is the most absurd thing to me. Okay, especially in the coaching world, there seems to be this thing where, you know, you hide your price and you don't tell them until you reveal it on the coaching call. How crazy is that, right? Anyone that's going out to buy a physical product knows how much that product is, or they're going to research how much that product is. Okay, so if you are getting people on your calls saying, oh, it's way more than I expected it to be, or it's too much money, or I need to think about it. No wonder they need to think about it, because you did not give them all the information up front to make an informed decision, right? You should be I'm a fan of telling people what the price is before they come onto any kind of conversation with me, because I don't want to have that be handling a money objection on my sales call. That's the last place you want to be handling the money objection. This is something that you can actually handle before your sales call, when you give someone the information up front. So those of you that are in that school of thought where you have to reveal your price on your sales call, that's old school. Think about it logically. When someone comes onto the call with all the information they need, including the price, all they're now doing is running a pattern in their brain to work out whether the price that you told them the coaching or the service was going to be is worth what they think they see in the program that you are offering them. Okay, but they're not fearful about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sold to and I don't know if I can afford this. When someone's in fear, they're not able to think straight. Okay, so they come onto the call and they have price shock. But not only that, they're not listening to anything that you're being able to absorb, anything that you're really saying, or they're putting up a barrier because they're scared for that moment when you're going to spring the price onto them. Such an old school way of selling. Like, it's just horrible. That's what makes sales calls icky, right? Because we're withdrawing information, holding back on information so that someone can't make an informed decision. When someone can make an informed decision, the likelihood of them translating into a call, into a client is far greater. The amount of times I've heard people say to me when they're coming onto a sales call, I didn't even need to go through that process. I was already sold on the process, right? And that's because of the stuff that I do before they even get to the sales call to make sure they have all the information they need to make an informed decision. Another thing that I ask is, before the call, do you need, a partner, or do you need somebody else to make the decision? And you think, well, why would you ask that? Because what's one of the objections we always hear? Oh, I need to talk to my partner. Oh my gosh, such a waste of time. We've been through all of this sales call. We've changed all of this belief. We've got this person excited about making the next step. They've got some fear, so they're looking for a get out of jail free card. And so they bring to the forefront, I need to talk to my partner. Well, it's better for you to know that up front and to say to them, look, if you need your partner to help you make this decision, then I want both of you to be on the call. And have both of them turn up on the call so that they can go through the same process together. Otherwise, what's going to happen? You fire this person up, they're super excited, they tell you that they want to speak to their partner, you tell them to go and speak to their partner, and their partner tells them, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Why do you think spending 4K on a program is acceptable? And they become deflated, and then basically they send you a message, or they come back and tell you, sorry, I'm not going to go forward with it. And you have to either then start the whole process again and try and handle the objections. Save yourself the time and ensure all the relevant parties, the decision makers, are on the call together. And if they can't make that time, then find a time when they can both be on the call and they can go through it. They can both go through it together. All right, so that's the 5 mistakes I guarantee you're making. But I wouldn't be Jor'EL without giving you one extra. I always like to over deliver, right? So the bonus that I want to talk to you about is not being prepared for objections and not handling them when they come up. Okay, so what do I mean by this? All right, when you're doing Selling Enough, you should know the common objections that start coming up. Okay, what are people saying? I need to speak to my partner. I don't have the money. Can I speak to some of your clients? What other things come up? Can I, do you offer, I don't think I can afford it. Do you offer discount? So many different things pop up, okay? So what you need to start doing is creating a list. Yeah, a list of all the potential objections. If you've not had enough sales calls, then start writing them down. Think about it. Put yourself in the position of your potential client. What would you potentially say in order not to go forward with your offer? Okay, make a list and then think about how you can handle that objection. Okay, think about the story you could tell, okay, around that objection that will help to change their belief pattern. Stories are great for this, okay? Think about the questions that you can ask, okay? That's going to get them to think differently and going to get them to see why whatever objection they're bringing forward doesn't make sense. Okay, stories and powerful questions are your keys, or metaphors are your keys to handling these objections. So prepare them beforehand. Don't get caught on the lurch. Okay, don't get scrambling in your brain trying to think of what you're going to say. Have an idea of what you're going to say. Of course, you're going to be present on the call, but have some go-tos that you can use. Okay, and then mix that in with what's being delivered to you right there and then. And another thing, not handling them when they come up. Sometimes people are giving you objections. Let's say you currently speak to people in direct messenger, and then from direct messenger, they are invited onto a call with you, for example. Some people are giving you the objections inside direct messenger. So why would you wait until they come onto the sales call to handle that objection? Makes no sense. You handle the objection inside the direct messenger, or as soon as it comes up. Maybe it might come up very early on. You can see the belief pattern that they're running very early on in the sales call. Handle it there and then. Handle your objections wherever they come up, as soon as they come up, because it makes no sense, okay, to wait until the very end of the sales call to be handling that objection. Yeah, you need time to be able to do that. All right. So that is your bonus giveaway of the 5 mistakes I guarantee that you are making. And guys, if you found this training very, very useful, okay, if you know that now is the time that you want to, move, sharpen your tool or your ability to sell, okay, if you want to be up in your sales ratio, if you want to be taking your ability to close calls to the next level, then I would love for you to have an impartial conversation with me. Okay, I want to have a business booster call with you, completely free. Okay, where I can look at your business, where you are right now, what you're looking to achieve, and help you to have that extra pair of eyes, okay, to diagnose what's presently going wrong. Because sometimes you can be so close to your business that you can't see the potential pitfalls. And so this is an opportunity for you to be able to see the pitfalls and for you to be able to look at ways to overcome them. As I said, it's totally free. I'm not even going to sell you anything on the call, to be fair. I'm just going to have that conversation with you. And if we look to see that something's a good fit, we can then discuss that later. Yeah, so really, if you know that this is your year and you know that you either want to move into your passion-driven business rapidly, finally get there, or if you know you want to hit your next financial goal, then don't miss out on this opportunity. Simply just comment booster call below, and either myself or a member of my team will get back to you and we'll get you an opportunity to have a free booster call. All right, so that brings me to the end of this training, guys. I'm going to wrap up now. I hope you've enjoyed it. For those of you that stayed with me all the way to the end, I hope you now know the 5 mistakes that you are making, and you also know how to overcome them. You're probably going to want to watch this training again. So if you need to, put replay underneath and I'll make sure you get a copy of that in your messenger as well. But until then, I will look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, our business booster calls happen every Wednesday at 6:30, where I'll be sharing more information about how you can grow and take your business to the next level. All right, until then, I'll speak to you soon.